it's me, Renee. I'm back. And today, as you see, I'm doing a vlog, which I don't do often, but I do sometimes. This time I decided to do a vlog. So the theme of the vlog is kind of a bit random. Okay, so it started with me getting these two books, Amari and the Despicable Wonders, yay, and The Body and the Blitz by Robin Stevens. And I kind of thought, okay, both books I very much want to read. And then randomly I saw, oh, they're both green. Let's do a vlog where I read green books. So yeah, that's randomly what this blog is really. So yeah, and also I also decided to, you know what, I'm gonna try to read them like during like a kind of specific time. So first I thought I'm gonna read them during 1 week, 7 days, and then I thought, let's do 8 days because sometimes you have lesser reading days and whatnot, and and also then you get to read more of the books that you have on your TBR. So yeah, I started this last Saturday, and yeah, finished it today. So yeah, because of like when I had a few days last week when I didn't really read that much, and finished it today and not on Sunday or whatnot. Well, yeah. So here we are. So the first book is The Body and the Blitz by Robin Stevens. This is a middle grade mystery taking place during the Second World War. And yeah, in this book, it's kind of locked room, or in a way, some of them are kind of locked room mysteries, and kind of no one could have done it or whatnot. And at the beginning, there's a body, but I don't really know who the body is because of the bomb, so it's kind of difficult to know who it is. And yeah, it's just a lovely, lovely story. I would say in the beginning it was a bit dragging. Then when the body was found, because the body wasn't found right away. So when the body was found, like at page, I won't say 60, they're like, oh, there's a body. Okay, who's the body? What's gonna happen? And then things started moving. And yeah, I loved the conclusion of this story. And it was also kind of fun to have like different plot lines, and all this didn't have to do with the body, but a lot of them did. And yeah, if you like mystery, if you might like middle grade, if you like historical, check out this series. It is amazing. And yeah, so far this is second in the series. It's the second in a universe where like there's a prequel series. There's a series that came first, and then you have this series. You don't have to read both, but if you want to, there's lots of books to check out. And then I end up reading Guttegärna Jenter by Jacqueline Wilson, or in English, Girls in Love. So this was my jam. It was my jam. When I was like 10, 11, 12, I loved this series. It was one of the series that me and my friends devoured. Yeah, I mean, I some people say like talk about how they never had friends outside internet who love to read, or like they didn't know anyone else who liked to read in their childhood, or they didn't like to read themselves before Twilight and whatnot. I love to read all my life, and in primary school, my best friends also loved to read, and we bonded over good books. And one of them was this series. And I heard, like back in June, I want to say, yeah, I think around June, that Jacqueline Wilson is writing another book. It just came out, so yeah. So this book series is getting a spin-off sequel. So like this takes place in early 2000s, and then yeah. So the next book, well, the latest book is all about this friend group and how they're handling being adults. And yeah, I have ordered that book. Very excited. So of course I had to reread the series. So I reread this book. So it's I would say it's tween series more or less. Kind of it takes place when they're 14, but like you could read this and be like 10, 11 and still very much enjoy it. It's still one of those books where like first kiss and whatnot. It has illustrations, and it's in diary form, so it's Isn't it in diary form? Maybe I'm mistaken. No, it's not in diary form. But yeah, it's quite quick, short chapters. And this book is just under 200. Well, hopefully, sorry, it's just under 110 pages. So quick read. And yeah, I loved being back in this world, in this universe. And I feel like also a lot of the things that happen in this one feel so real to like to today. So I suppose some things are just kind of timeless. Like if you have a smartphone or not, you'll still, when you're 10, 11, 14, you'll still think, do I look pretty enough? Am I thin enough? Am I beautiful enough? Do people like me? And maths is difficult and whatnot, and these kind of things that always happen in kids' lives. And yeah, loved revisiting this series. And I have some of the other books that I already have like ready to reread. So yeah, I'll pick up them afterwards. And then I picked up Around Ireland with a Fridge by Tony Hawks. So I heard about this from the We Can Be Weirdos podcasts with Dan Schreiber. So he's one of the people behind the QI podcast, No Such Thing as Fish, and he has his own podcast as well. Where it just people who like talks about how what they think about the world, like do they believe in ghosts, aliens, whatnot. But he also talks about like what they've done. And Tony Hawks was on episode. He talks about his book, which yeah he wrote this back in 1997 when he had like an idea. He's a stand-up comedian, and he thought, you know what? Why don't I go hitchhiking around Ireland over the fridge? So that's what he did. Kind of a weird idea, but he did do that. He went hitchhiking around Ireland with a refrigerator. He went for a whole month, and yeah, this is his travelogue documenting how what happened. It is it is 270 pages, so quite a quick read, I would say. And yeah, I would say this is definitely a book that you have to check out if you feel like nonfiction is just boring and weird and heavy and stupid. This will definitely cure you of that idea because this is a bonkers story. And it's also like it's nonfiction. It's not like nonfiction, historical nonfiction like people in the past. This is everyday people, like just people being weird. I suppose Irish people are weird, maybe. But yeah, highly recommend that you guys check out this book. And I'm hitting myself. Yep. So yeah, that and that one. And then I picked up Pålogga livet by Sven Biskar Sunde or Mikael Stilton. So this, as you see, is a Norwegian book by Norwegian authors, so Norwegian. It's a non-fiction all about kind of disconnecting from screens. So these two guys, they're friends, and I kind of feel like they've been addicted to the smartphones. So they decided to go a whole year with no smartphone, and then, well, in addition to that, they want to use less screen time. So like in their evenings, they were just gonna like I think maybe they were gonna do like watch half an hour of news or like half an hour TV, and that's like every day. And like they could use the screen during their working hours because I mean in today's world without using a PC for your working hours, that's kind of possible, I would say, depending on depending on your book, depending on your job. Like most jobs, you need a PC. But yeah, so they went a whole year more or less without the internet, like and yeah, without screens. Um, and yeah, this is the book kind of talking about that. Yeah, honestly, this book disappointed me. Kind of. It's not that big. It is like under 200 pages. I feel like you can easily go deeper into this. I feel like honestly, this is one of those books where I feel like it's kind of in the middle. Like it it tells you a bit about like what happened. It's not just like it tells you about what the thing you're doing. You like see what happened during the year, So it's not like they just wrote down this will happen, we're guessing this will happen, and then the end what happened. So it's kind of detailed, but I feel like can you? I feel like it would be better if they went into more details, went into it more. Like if you'd written this book 200 pages more, or had a book like this on 400 pages, I think that would be better. You can kind of go deeper into the different aspects of this project. Really, I feel like we've just scratched the surface, really. And I feel like, why are you gonna write this book if it's just gonna be the surface level thingies? I feel like I don't know. Didn't you have enough time to write more, or did you feel like this book is enough? I suppose maybe you'll feel like this is gonna be a big bestseller and then can't be too long of a book. I don't know. To me, yeah, speaking myself, I do. And also, one of the things this book talked about was like how people are addicted to phones that they take the phone to them when they go to the toilet. And like, what? Why? I know some people do it, but like, why would you do that? And they talk about all the people talk about like how it's so difficult to go to the toilet without having a phone. And I'm like, if you need to use the toilet, shouldn't you just pee or poo? I mean, why would you have to have something in the toilet? And then talks to my friends, and that's like, yeah, they also have the phone in the toilet. And I'm like, why? I suppose it's just me that I'm not really that interested in having my phone on the toilet. I don't do that. I do. I listen to the radio while in a shower on in the bathroom, but I don't watch a screen while I'm in. So I don't do that. I don't. Also a bit weird because this book, because I get to talk about like not going to use screens, not going to use phones, not going to use smartphones, and not going to use uh not going to watch lots of TV. They're not gonna also not going to watch movies because it's part of the screen, whatnot. But then I also said I'm not going to use headphones to like listen to podcasts. I'm like, a podcast is not a screen. I mean, people often talk about like how screens make you stupid and like make you zombified and whatnot. Like, if you listen to a podcast, you could still walk in nature and whatnot. So I mean, that's healthy. You just listen to someone saying something. I don't really understand why not podcast. I feel like they listen to radio, not podcast. And I'm like, I mean, what's the difference between radio and a podcast? I don't really. I mean, I, I don't really understand that. So yep. So yeah, this book, I didn't hate it. Definitely didn't love it. I feel like the cover is beautiful, but I mean the cover is like from a old painting, so it's that's not really their fault. But yeah. Amari and the Despicable Wonders. So yeah, this is the third book in the Amari series. I love it so much. This book just had me on my at the edge of my seat the whole time. It's just like, what's gonna happen now? What's gonna happen now? Is this happening? This happening? Like, I'm not gonna go into spoilers, but I'm going to say that at like the third or fourth chapter in this book, I started crying a bit because my god, that plot line was like, oh, no. I mean, it's been used before, but it's still like, no, why is this happening? And yeah, I mean, Vivi Olsen just writes amazingly. Also at the end, because I knew going into this book that we were going to have fourth and fifth book because it said so on his Instagram. I was kind of curious at getting to the ends of this book, and then I ended like, okay, so this, I mean, spoiler though. Yeah, okay, spoiler. But yeah, the villain from the first three books is defeated in this book. So I thought like, well, okay, so what's gonna happen in the fourth book? Because usually a villain is the same one for the whole series. At least if it's the same one for the first series, first books. And then I saw an interview that he said like, no, the last two books is gonna be a new villain. I'm like, okay, uh, okay, but I suppose that's kind of interesting. He also said he might be doing a spin-off, like, but a spin-off, but yeah, but yeah. So it's gonna be interesting. But I suppose one of the reasons I love this series is the world. So the villain being a new one in the next book, I'm not against it. It's just kind of like, okay, changing the villain like halfway through the series. That's interesting. But again, why not? It's just not something they often do in books series, I feel like, but why not? So yeah, I mean this book is just amazing. I finished it the day I finished it on Saturday. I read it in the early hours of the day, like I was laying in bed on Friday and just kind of couldn't go to bed. I had to finish it, and yeah, it's amazing, amazing read. Then we have yeah, then we have maybe I finished this on Tuesday. Yeah, anyway, when I finished this, I kind of picked up some other books and I was like, yeah, I don't know, and I had some days where like, yeah, I'm just gonna listen to audiobooks. I'm just gonna do other things, and then I didn't really concentrate. Oh yeah, also finished. You know what? I'm gonna do that one now. Yeah, suddenly remember things that also didn't say. So I also during this time I also did an audiobook, which I had started before, but then I thought, oh, it works. Um, so I also did an audiobook. Alt fotball har lært oss om livet by Tete Lindbom og Sven Biskår Sunde. So yeah, another one where it's one of the same people behind this book. And this book is an audiobook on like 5 hours, so it was like not like a big audiobook, but it was all about football or soccer. And honestly, as you might know, I don't really like sports or football at all. Like I know that the Olympics is happening that week, and I know that VM is happening, like the FIFA whatnot. Like if you're gonna ask me to name names, like name like players, soccer players, like name uh teams or name like stadiums, I'm like, I don't know. Uh, but I mean, I suppose for me, it's kind of like I feel like anything could be interesting, and even a book about sports, which I don't usually like, I feel like could be interesting. And I knew that this book wasn't going to be particularly about sports; it's just going to be more around sports. So about like one chapter was about the soccer players doing pranks. One chapter is about where they live and whatnot, and yeah, so it's more about around the sports than the sport itself. And yeah, I quite enjoyed it. It was interesting enough. I didn't pay attention 100% of the time, but I don't do that originally in books, so it's not like I DNF'd it, something else, or I just did finish it. But yeah, and yeah, it was an exciting, insightful, good listen. And yeah, so I listened to that at the end of last week, and then yeah, I had a bit of like a day or two slump, or like I picked up a book and I didn't really focus on it, and but then I picked up Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake. So this is the second in this. I wanna say it is called. It has a name. It has a name. Yep. Anyway, it's a series of love stories set in this small town. Uh, this book, it's kind of not enemies. It's kind of bad first impressions, I suppose. Yeah, more bad first impressions turn to lovers. It's a sapphic love story. One of them discovers they're queer in this story, and yeah, they both have their issues, and they solve them and figure it out together and find love. And it's also like also this general story of this like they have to like um, they have to words they have to renovate an inn, which is what you see there. So as I say, blah, 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 blah. So Jordan, she is like a contractor. Yeah, contractor. And Astrid is a designer. So they kind of have to meet in the middle there and whatnot. And this is kind of weird because I mean I feel like this book has or this series has been everywhere, and I think I bought it like 1 year ago or something like that. I started before, and then I feel like I wasn't into it, and I started again now. It's like, why wasn't I into it before? Because this book is just lovely. I love it on all the different ways. It's just amazing. Great story, great plots, C plots, B plots, A plots, everything. It's not really a book where I have lots of complaints. So I don't really get why I didn't like it before. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood for contemporary when I picked it up last time. I don't remember. I just remember not enjoying it. But I just read a few pages. I I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I read it now and I loved it so much. And like in addition to a lot of other stuff that I love about it, it also has like a slightly ghosted plot line, which is kind of fun. Like they're like, ooh, it's haunted. It's not a paranormal book, but it's kind of like you could think maybe it's paranormal, maybe it's a ghost, maybe it's a wind, but also maybe it's a ghost. We don't know. But yeah, very good book. Definitely gonna read the other books in the series, which I know is already out. And then we have another Norwegian book. It is Til døden skiller ad by Anders Totland. So this is second in the series. I believe the first one might be coming out in English. I mean, probably not impossible because it made a big splash when it came out. Then anywho, this is the second book, just came out. I got it signed. I got it signed in the store. And this series, I would say it's not really like cozy mystery. It's all even really like mystery because you know from the get go what happened. I would say it's more like uh thriller funny book in a way. Yeah, thriller funny book. Because the main character is a retired priest, and he ends up meeting different gang members because of life. I won't go into what happens, but just life, and then thinks, okay, okay, I'm gonna have to make this body go away because life. So he has to like figure out, okay, where do I put this body? I can't put it here because people will see it there. I can put it there because people will notice it there. It will start to smell, and it's just kind of, I suppose it's more logistical around like bodies than like who killed that person and whatnot. And it's like a great cast of characters, and yeah, it's just very funny and very lovely, and also not like a big book. So if you want a quick read, this is the book to go for. Though I suppose you're not Norwegian if you watch this, but maybe you're. Hi Luna, some of you might be. But yeah, if this ever comes out in English, definitely check it out. And then just most recently, like a few hours ago, like yeah, at the beginning of this day, I finished Newt's Emerald by Garth Nix. Another reread. So this one were two rereads for this vlog because that's how it happened. And we wanted to reread this one for a while and just haven't. I mean, this one is not completely green, but I would say mostly it's green cover. It's a green emerald, so yeah. I have also, this is kind of like a first reading. How do you count? Okay, so I listened to this one for the first time on audio, and then I haven't read it before. So I suppose it's the first time in this word, in this um, in this cover, in this version, format, in this format. It's the first time in this format, and yeah, it definitely still holds up because like I read it a few years ago now, and yeah, it's just a charming, lovely. It's a Regency romance slash gaslight fantasy story. So it's both fantasy but also historical and mystery and has a lot of elements, and it's just yeah, I love it so much. It has persons who have to disguise themselves because of reasons. It has uh, it has mystery. So I would say mystery is like big, but I suppose it's more like finding the bad guy. And that's kind of more because the mystery is kind of sold at like maybe a quarter, like just like 50 pages into the book. But then after that, it's like, but yeah, we still have to figure out, find the people who were behind it and like stop them. And yeah, it's a big plot, and yeah, I just love it. Great, great book. I love it so much. So yeah, that, my dear friends, is all these books I managed to read in a little over a week, which, yeah, quite happy with that. And in addition to that, these just two of them are library books, so most of these are my own books. So yay for like slowly cutting through my own unread pile own. So yeah, and yeah, if you read any of these, if you read any other cool Korean books lately, or if you just read any fun books, tell me about them, and I'll see you soon. Bye.